you just have to start. If you don't start, then you'll never know what you could have accomplished, but definitely move forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the eComm Growth Show.
Do I say hi now or do I wait? I'm pretty much brain fried at this point.
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the e-commerce growth show. I'm really excited today because we got one of our favorite clients with us, Angela, and she runs the brand Kinkistry. She's actually one of Robby's first clients when we were just getting going. She probably doesn't know that because we didn't tell people when we were just starting, but we were going a little bit before that. But Rob, why don't you add to that a little bit too?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been awesome because we've been working together for years, and it's just been such a joy to be able to work together. And one thing I say on this podcast is like, we're nothing without you, like our clients, and we can't do anything without you showing up and doing what you do super well every single day.
Yeah.
And the result when we come together and work together is just like really awesome. And we've seen your business blossom and flourish. And I guess today I would really love to go back to the roots of it and give people, I think there's a lot of people trying to break into the e-commerce industry, and there's a lot of different people telling you different ways to get started. What's most helpful, in my opinion, is just seeing people who are actually doing it and have actually already done it, how they got started, and just seeing what lessons we can learn. So Angela, welcome to the show. We're so excited to dive into this. What did getting started on this journey look like for you?
No, thank you. I'm glad to be here. So for me, what I wanted to do was try to fill a gap that me as the consumer was basically seeing that really wasn't a niche market for at that particular point in time when I was looking. So my company is Kinkistry. I sell kinky curly extensions, and it's specific to women of color. And I myself am a connoisseur of extensions and wigs and, just different looks. Today I have a haircut just because I'm always doing something, different.
Yeah.
But I wanted to find some extensions that actually matched my hair. And in doing so, I tried different brands and just really wasn't finding what I was looking for. And so I decided that I would kind of branch out and take a look to see if I could find something that was more closely suited for my texture. So with the help of my hairstylist, she actually kind of helped to navigate me towards the right vendors and where to actually purchase hair. I started kind of dibbling and dabbling in that and purchasing, and came out with a collection of hair that is a wide variety of textures and curls and coils. And my husband is a physician, so the way that it turned into an e-commerce business versus a brick and mortar, we've moved to several states. He's also in the Army, but it's reserved. So really, he's just kind of we've moved around to a few states, mainly due to his day job, just from, being a physician.
Totally.
And so I was working from home and needed to have something that was portable because we moved a lot.
Yeah.
And so I've always wanted to own a business, just didn't know what it would be, and found that hair was just something that I'm very passionate about, and started Kinkistry, and decided that, it had to be e-commerce because I, again, have two children at the time. They were small, and my husband, with his job. So I just definitely needed to make sure it was e-commerce. And that's how it began.
That's awesome. One thing I wanted to point out is this idea that business is based on the voluntary exchange of value. And a lot of people, there's this narrative about business that if you want to go and start your own business and hit massive goals and like do really cool things for yourself and your family, some people look at that and they say, oh, well, that's maybe selfish or greedy, and especially in like really big business. But what's true about this is that you were able to do both at the same time, where you wanted to understand how to get extensions for your own hair. And then in doing that, you've actually given that same solution to now thousands of other women. And I just think that's so cool. And that's why you get the reward of being a successful business owner, is because first you were able to find the solution that you were looking for and the value that you were looking for in the marketplace, and realize that it really didn't exist. And I think there's a huge key to that. Like when people are looking at, where do I get started? Just find something that you need, because more often than not, like, other people are having that same problem.
Absolutely.
And then when you found a solution for that, it was as simple as offering it to other people. And I remember, maybe you can talk a little bit about this. When we had first started conversations together, you were doing really well with just like getting organic traction. And I think it was, you had some ladies that you had kind of like partnered with, and they were doing tutorial videos. What was that like? And kind of what was the transition from, first of all, you found the product for yourself, you were starting to love the solution, and then what did it look like to begin sharing that and to really even start building almost like a movement, right? What was that process like for you?
Yeah. It was slow. It was very slow. I knew that I needed to get more really knowledge of social media, and also make sure that I had a great website. So I definitely knew that, I wanted to make sure everybody knew about this wonderful product that I had, and didn't really have a way to, do that unless I went to social media. So I just studied up more on social media. I really wasn't big at the time on either platform, Facebook or Instagram. Personally on Facebook, I, had a personal account, but didn't really understand, the algorithms or anything in terms of just trying to, reach more people. And I actually created an account on Instagram, a business account, and a good friend of mine told me that in order for your product to get out, and for it to be believable, other people had to wear it. Other people actually had to, have testimonials and because I was my model. I was,
everything,
the tester.
Right?
I did everything. I was all over my website. Robby can attest to that. So I basically was the face, which, I still am, but literally it was just me.
Yeah.
And so in order for it to be more believable, I needed to, and that was the best piece of information that I've ever received, advice, because other people aren't gonna, if people don't see it on other people, they're not gonna buy it if it's just, on you or, whatever. So I then began to, through YouTube and also through Instagram, find influencers that I felt would represent the brand the way that I wanted it represented, as well as, that were able to style their hair. They were naturals, and started sending product for content. So at that time, I couldn't afford to pay anyone to create content. And I had to sift through, I went through a lot of lessons, contracts.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah, totally.
I got burned so many times by doing that, just sending product and just hoping, people would create content. And, as the longer you're in business, the more you learn. And so the majority of the ladies were honest and they did create content, and I was able to move my social presence, along further due to influencers.
Totally. And what it ends up being like, it's really just the power of social proof. You said, getting people to see other people wearing your products, it makes it more believable. It makes it more desirable and more tangible. And what I loved about where you were at when we first got started together is you had amazing content. And obviously you struggled to be able to get there with the contracts. And I think a lot of people can resonate with that, where they're like, I've heard so many stories of people who like even have expensive jewelry and they're send it out to an influencer and then they actually don't get content and they're like so sad. And I think a lot of people have been burned by that type of a scenario. So definitely like having a game plan going in, having contracts. But what was so awesome is you had just like, number one, you had an awesome product that people really, really needed and that pretty much didn't exist before you were around. And then number two, you had a movement of like real people that were wanting to buy into that. And so kind of getting to your next plateau or kind of like hit your next stage of growth, you know, was really, really awesome because we were able to come alongside you and then just begin to amplify the things that were already working well and just like optimize a few things, amplify it across social media channels. And when we're talking about, I think a lot of people too, they wonder what a successful relationship with an agency should look like. And I think at some level in a lot of these conversations, we discover that like you know, you're wearing every hat in the business. You were the face of the business, you were the accountant, you did the web development, social media management, product development, all of that, research and development. And at some point you just outgrow your ability to do it on your own. And that naturally leads its way towards like, maybe I should start talking to an agency or bring somebody in to help me run my marketing. But I think it's so important for people to know that that relationship will not be successful until you have the basics of your brand dialed in, which we appreciate and love about you so much. It's like you have an awesome product, you have people that want to buy it, and now we just need to get the word out. To me, that's like the secret sauce of what you need to have in place to even be able to launch successful paid marketing.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, you definitely, I would tell people, have your basics, you know, have your website, have a presence on, you don't necessarily have to have a huge presence, but have a presence on social media. And then look for Shopanova. because, you know, what happened is, I was at the point where you know, I do believe everything happens for a reason, but I definitely, my business was at the point where I was ready for the next level, which was, you know, the boom with social media, Instagram, the ads, and, you know, that business. I actually was prepared for the influx of business that the ads that you guys did for me brought to me. So definitely you must be, you know, you got to be ready, because if you can't handle everything, all of the orders, because it's going to happen, you know, it will happen. If you don't have everything in place, then it won't pan out the way, you know, that it should. So
here, I have a question for you, Angela. So in your journey as a business owner and doing what you've done and being able to help thousands of people in your industry, did you ever find there was like a certain belief system that had to be changed to hit these new levels, or any certain challenges you had to overcome where it really just like shifted your perspective and how you think about being a business owner and providing value to all the ladies that you wake up and do every single day?
I think for me, not necessarily a change of belief systems, but I'm a very hands-on person. And for me to be able to let everything go, I mean, it's a couple things. For me to be able to let everything go, to find a good team, and I have a great team of ladies that work with me.
Awesome.
To have the confidence to kind of let, you know, those things go. Being able to hire Shopanova, not have to worry about that side of the house, that gives me the ability, like you said, it frees me up to do other things. You know, one of my biggest things is that I'm currently doing a breast cancer awareness event, and I'm very proud to be able to give back to my community. And so
love that.
This has afforded me the opportunity to be able to not only, you know, give a good product, but also be philanthropic in ways that I may not have before due to my platform that I have. So Not necessarily that, I had to change any belief systems, but just kind of believe in what I've put in place.
Yeah.
Find the right people to help continue to bring my vision into fruition.
Yeah.
And just because I'm the biggest proponent of, if you're an expert, run with it. I don't have to be an expert in everything. That's why I have you guys. I don't need to know, I don't need to know the back ends of Facebook. As long as we have a good rapport, good relationship, and you're providing me the information that I need to make, important decisions. But yeah, just kind of, not having to wear all those hats has helped me
totally
propel and move forward. So, and provide the services that
Yeah, and it's funny, we actually hear that a lot, and I really relate with that myself. As when you start out, you're doing everything, and then when you go to hand that off, you almost have a weird attachment to it of like, I built this up and now I have to give it to someone else. But once you do that, like, that's how businesses are able to grow and scale. And once you have those processes in place, we found that you can actually find people that are better than you at those specific roles. So the business only gets better and better as you learn to let go and plug the right people in. So I really love what you're saying, and I hope people really latch onto that, because we've heard it so many times of, I have a hard time letting go. And I think people just need to let go of those areas, because if you're holding on, trying to rein it in, it's only crippling you from scaling and growing your brand. So super cool you said that. I have a question. So if you were to look back like 5-6 years ago, or whenever you started the brand, and looking at it where it is now, would you have imagined you were at this point? Or does it feel surreal still, like, oh wow, like I built something real, I'm able to give back to the community? Because I know for me, sometimes if I'm like looking back at 25-year-old Daniel, I wouldn't have expected us to be where I am right now. We had these ideas, these hopes, these dreams, and we wanted to be there, but I think there was still something in the back of my head that said, that feels impossible. Did you ever have anything like that going on?
I always knew that my passion would find my place.
Yeah.
And I can't say that I knew that I would, be where I am. I had hoped that I'd be here. And I still have a ways to go. But I definitely, some mornings I go, wow, I should be at the office right now. And I'm like, oh, but I have the autonomy now to take my kids to school, and I'll go to the gym, and then I'll go to work, so sometimes it does, it hits me. It's like, wow, I have employees to pay. I have lives that depend on, Kinkistry. And so I had hoped, I had prayed that I would be here. But you have this thing in the back of your head, like, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, totally.
One thing I'm picking up on just as we're talking is I feel like you've just always had that confidence and didn't necessarily have like the super specific expectations, but you're like, I have this passion. I have faith that it's going to work out. And you just went into it with confidence. I think that's something that people should really be gleaning from you as well. We could sit here and chat all day, and I'm loving this, and we'll have to come down and visit you sometime. But I have one question.
Are you still in Alaska?
We are.
Yep.
Okay.
Or we could bring you up here.
She was gonna offer to come visit us until she's like, I don't know about it.
I actually want to come to Alaska. I actually want to take a cruise.
Oh man, there we go.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
If you do, we'll definitely make sure to set up a time where we can hang out.
Totally.
Absolutely.
But I want to ask you a question that I haven't asked anybody on the history of this whole podcast. But just hearing you talk, you said, you have the autonomy to like take your kids to school, like kind of have a little bit of freedom. In your experience, because you're a very like family oriented person, what advice would you give to somebody who's in this kind of work, who's maybe they already have a business, but they're trying to get to the next level, just in terms of balancing everything that happens at work with your family at home, your husband and your kids and stuff like that?
Ooh, so unfortunately, you can't do everything and be everything to everyone. And as much as I'd love to say I could do it all, I can't. So I am fortunate and I am blessed that I have a husband who is good with us having some assistance at the house.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have a tutor, I'm blessed that I'm able to have a tutor for our children. I can't do it all. I just can't. You can't do it all. You have to have some help. And so if you don't have, a tutor, maybe your mom can help out, or, maybe you're, I have family all the time that has to pick my kids up from school, or, do some things for us. So just definitely, if you have family, try to dial into that support system. But, when I first started Kinkistry, my husband and I had a conversation, and I said, hey, you've always known this is what I was wanting a business. It was difficult because he was the one that suffered. He did. He suffered, got the short end of the stick, because I was not there as much as I was before I started the business. But 5-6 years later, we are now at a point where we are able to take those vacations and, do more things together. Now that the business is kind of in a situation where we're coasting along. So it takes dedication and sacrifice, and anything worth having, that old cliche.
That's so good. Talk about being able to get help when you need it. Like, that's probably the hardest place to accept that kind of help is, with your own family. So
at home, it really is.
Totally.
As a woman, you want to do, that's kind of my role anyway, is to make sure the family is good. And so, I want to make sure that everybody is okay. But at the end of the day, I'm only one person, and you just have to, gotta have help.
Man. Well, nobody's questioning whether or not you mean what you say now. That's definitely proof to the pudding. And then the other thing too that I was going to say is, geez, it's just so cool. Like, I think a lot of people don't realize the sacrifice that it does take to actually build something that's worth having. And
right.
That's a story that I would love to tell over and over, because that's what we experienced. It was slow at the beginning. It was hard. It did take sacrifices and it did affect my family. It's not something that happens overnight. And I just, I applaud you for the way you've stayed in the fight and now where you're at today. It's so awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. You want to close us out?
Dude, yeah. Thanks so much, Angela. That was really good stuff. I would just ask one last question. Parting advice, let's gear this one towards someone just starting out. You gave some good tips on the exact process that you did. But say someone has found an idea. They want to start their own business. They don't know if it's possible. What advice would you give that person?
If you are passionate about it, you'll know. And you'll know it's the right thing. If that's all you're thinking about, you'll definitely know that that's the right thing to do. Persistence, just be persistent and know that, it won't happen overnight. For most of us, it doesn't. Some people it does, but there's definitely sweat equity that has to go into whatever it is that you are, trying to bring forward, or whatever company you're trying to start. So definitely hard work is a part of the equation, and just, going for it. You just have to start. If you don't start, then you'll never know what you could have accomplished, but definitely move forward.
That's so good. Well, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Angela dropping some gold nuggets for us. Thanks so much for coming on, Angela. We really enjoyed this conversation today. If you guys like this episode, please go ahead and share it, rate, review, subscribe, do all the good things, get the word out, and we will see you guys next time.